Well, we always wonder, with the population of around 1.3 billion, we have very little to show when it comes to Olympics or even for that matter at the international level also. Very little to show about. But in the recent past, things have changed, as has been informed earlier also. One of the greatest things that I consider has happened is winning the Thomas Cup, because that's a team game, and then it's again the potential of individual players contributing to that. So it's one of the big achievements. Plus, we have performed the best by far in the Olympics. But having said that, when it comes to 1.3 billion population and the medals, probably somewhere we feel that it is disproportionate when it comes to showing at Olympics and international levels as well. So what I want to know is what exactly should be the process of making champions? It's very, very important.
What is the process of making a champion?
And particularly, Himika, from you, I would like to know as to what are the various government initiatives which are being taken, and how, because it's very easy to say that you have spent this much of money, where is the money? Show us the medals. It's very easy to show that.
Results.
So if you can throw some light on that.
Okay, so I think my Hindi is not very good, but I think we'll make it a mix of Hindi, English both.
That's perfect.
तो अच्छा, तो अभी आप में से बहुत लोग सोच रहे होंगे कि ये लेडी जो है साड़ी पहन के स्टेज पे बैठी हुई है, इनका स्पोर्ट्स से दूर दूर तक क्या लेना देना, ये क्यों आई है स्पोर्ट्स के बारे में बात करने के लिए। अब ये है कि पहले सर ने इंट्रोड्यूस किया, मैं और एक बार बता देती हूँ कि मैं जो सेंटर में जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स है, मैं उनके साथ काम करती हूँ, और उनका मीडिया कम्युनिकेशन जो आप देखते हैं ट्विटर पे, नीरज चोपड़ा जीतता है तो हम इमीडिएटली बोलते हैं नीरज जीत गया, तो वो काम मैं करती हूँ इन द स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री। तो इसलिए एक इनसाइड व्यू है कि इस मतलब आज की तारीख में अगर सर ने जैसे कहा कि we are a huge country but there's nothing to show for the number of medals, but कुछ चेंज हो रहा है, शायद थोड़ा चेंज हो रहा है।
Himika, you can call me Ashutosh.
Okay. Okay, so थोड़ा चेंज हो रहा है, तो क्या कुछ चेंज हो रहा है? You're all young people, many of you said that you play sport and you're interested in sport. क्या स्पोर्ट्स में आज के तारीख में ऐसा कुछ है जिससे आप जैसे यंग लोग कुछ आशा रख सकते हैं कि इंडिया आगे चल के भी स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छा कर सकती है? अगर मैं स्पोर्ट्स में करियर बनाना चाहता हूँ या चाहती हूँ, क्या मैं बना सकती हूँ? तो what has to just give perspective, 2020 has been, और ये दौर कुछ 2018 से शुरू हुआ। 2018 we had our best ever Commonwealth Games, best ever Asian Games. When we say best ever, we mean the number of medals won. So on Indian soil, when 2010 Commonwealth Games had happened, that is the time we had won the largest number of medals. क्योंकि देश में जब कोई competition होता है, you can send a very big contingent, कोई restriction नहीं होता, more people compete, more medals come, etc. But outside of Indian soil, 2018 was our best, and that was followed up by very good performances by Indian contingents in Olympics 2020 in Tokyo, Paralympics, Deaf Olympics. Now, these numbers are heartening only because, when somebody wins a medal somewhere, for India, the entire country feels excited about it, when Neeraj Chopra wins, or when we win in cricket, or whatever game it might be. There's a certain amount of excitement within the country. So right now, like Ashutosh just said, that things seem to be changing. So what really could be that change? The change probably is that now finally there is a mindset change among people. क्योंकि देखिए, you can give as much support as possible. Now आज मैं कहूँ कि आप लोग आ जाइए और हम आपको support दे रहे हैं चांद पे जाने के लिए, but if that is not something that you want to do, हम कह रहे हैं कि हम आपको पैसे भी देंगे, हम आपको चांद पे ले जाएंगे, आप बस चलिए, पर आप कहे कि मुझे तो चांद पे जाना ही नहीं है, तो जितना भी support दे दे उसका तो कोई फायदा नहीं है। It's the same with sports. जब तक वो माइंडसेट चेंज नहीं आएगा वेयर पीपल विल थिंक कि मुझे स्पोर्ट्स में ही कुछ करना है, तब तक शायद जितना भी सपोर्ट दे दिया जाए वो दिखेगा नहीं। वो चेंज है सबसे बड़ा चेंज। सो आई विल कम टू द गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, बट सबसे बड़ा चेंज ये है कि आज बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं, लॉट्स एंड लॉट्स ऑफ यंग पीपल हु आर थिंकिंग कि मुझे करियर जो है स्पोर्ट्स में बनाना है। मुझे स्पोर्ट, तो आप नाम उठा के देख लीजिए, मीराबाई चानू, वेट लिफ्टर, ओलंपिक में मेडल उन्होंने जीता। वो मणिपुर के एकदम इतने छोटे से गांव से आती है, जो कोई मतलब ऑलमोस्ट नन ऑफ अस नो द नेम, यू नो। नीरज चोपड़ा गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट, इंडिया में एथलेटिक्स में गोल्ड मेडल ओलंपिक में, किसी ने सोचा नहीं था, उन्होंने वो करके दिखाया। वो भी हरियाणा के एक छोटे से गांव से आते हैं। बजरंग पुनिया, मतलब जितना नाम ले सकते हैं। तो ये इन लोगों का उनका जो जज्बा था कि मैं कुछ करके दिखाऊंगा, मैं स्पोर्ट्स में कुछ करूंगा, उसके साथ वो जज्बा, दैट इज द मेन थिंग, द विल। उसके साथ क्या ऐड हो गया? सपोर्ट। सो नाउ आई विल कम टू द सपोर्ट। तो टुडे द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स सपोर्ट इन इंडिया इज, आई लाइक टू थिंक, पिरामिडल एंड 360 डिग्री। पिरामिडल इसलिए बोल रही हूँ क्योंकि कुछ भी शुरू करने के लिए आपको नीचे से शुरू करना पड़ता है, आप ऊपर से तो शुरू कर नहीं सकते। तो नीचे से, अभी आप, पता नहीं आप में से कितने लोगों ने सुना होगा, खेलो इंडिया के बारे में सुना है क्या? कभी सुना है ना? तो खेलो इंडिया इज द ग्रास रूट लेवल स्कीम ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट। पुणे में खेलो इंडिया गेम्स भी हुए थे, बालेवाड़ी में 2018 में। हाँ, तो वो वहाँ क्या होता है कि जो पूरे कंट्री में फैले हुए स्पोर्टिंग टैलेंट है, उनको खेलो इंडिया स्कीम के तहत, गेम्स के तहत ले आया जा रहा है, एंड उनको ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है। कॉम्पिटिशन्स, देखिए एक बात है, टैलेंट के बिना कुछ नहीं हो सकता। तो बहुत लोग सोचते हैं कि अरे मैं भी तो खेलता हूँ, मुझे कुछ नहीं मिला। पर टैलेंट उस लेवल का होना पड़ेगा जहाँ पे आप 10,000 बच्चों के साथ compete करके, IIT में भी तो होता है ना, स्पोर्ट्स में भी वही होता है कि 10,000 बच्चों के साथ compete करके आप टॉप 1000 में आएंगे, तभी आप खेलो इंडिया स्कीम का हिस्सा बन के, और आगे आपको स्कॉलरशिप, और स्कॉलरशिप भी यू नो कि एक 8 साल के लिए स्कॉलरशिप फॉर 6.28 लाख ईयर, जिससे आपको ट्रेनिंग, कोचिंग, डाइट, आपको जो चाहिए आप करते रहो। बट 8 साल तक जब आप करते हो ना, जैसे क्लासेस में भी होता है, आपको एग्जाम देके पास होना पड़ता है ना, एक क्लास से दूसरे क्लास में पास होना पड़ता है। सो सिमिलरली खेलो इंडिया में भी आपको परफॉर्म करते रहना पड़ता है, ताकि आगे चल के वो सपोर्ट आपको मिलता रहे और आगे ओलंपिक तक आप पहुंच सको। बट मेरा कहने का मकसद ये है कि सपोर्ट हर एक स्टेज में है, आपके टैलेंट पे डिपेंड करता है। इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द टैलेंट ऑफ द स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन, दैट हाउ मच ऑफ दैट सपोर्ट विल कंटिन्यू टू बी विथ हिम और हर थ्रू द स्पोर्टिंग जर्नी। सो द खेलो इंडिया स्कीम translates then after 8 years into the target Olympic podium scheme. So grassroots हो गया, फिर middle level the development stage पे tops का target Olympic podium scheme का होता है, and then the elite target Olympic podium scheme that also funds elite athletes. Now ये पूरा 360 degree structure है, हर level पे support है, पर how you are able to get that support depends on the talent that the sports person has. And that, you know, is constant training, practice, dedication. मतलब हम लोग सोचते हैं कि यार स्पोर्ट्स ही खेल रहे हैं, he will agree with me because he's been with IPL for a very long time. You know, the life of a sports person is like life of a soldier, because the best lives of their years, और ये हम में से बहुत लोग नहीं जानते, हमको लगता है कि अरे यार वो तो गया और you know बल्ला घुमा के आ गया और सब फोटो खींच रहे हैं और जाके जावलिन फेंक के आ गया और देखो आज तो इतना सब पूछ रहे हैं। But people have, you know, dedicate the best years of their life to sport. दिन में 8 घंटे, 10 घंटे, they are constantly only training and doing nothing else. When Mirabai won the Olympic medal, तो पहली चीज उसने कहा था कि मैं घर जाना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि 5 साल वो घर नहीं गई थी, अपने पेरेंट्स से नहीं मिली थी, भाई बहनों से नहीं मिली थी। वो सिर्फ NS पटियाला में जो स्पोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया का सेंटर है, वहाँ पे वो 5 साल तक कॉन्स्टेंटली सिर्फ ट्रेन करती थी। होली नहीं, दिवाली नहीं, छुट्टी नहीं, बाहर जाना नहीं, बाहर का खाना नहीं, नथिंग, जस्ट ट्रेनिंग। तो वो डेडिकेशन होते होते जब तक वहाँ पहुँचते हैं, then you know that support continues to be. और वो support आज के दिन में मतलब कांस्टेंट है, ऐसा नहीं कि है और फिर अचानक से चला गया और आपने कुछ देर तक तो आपके साथ थे, फिर हाथ छोड़ दिया, बोला आप खुद देख लीजिए. दैट हैज़ चेंज. पहले ग्रास रूट लेवल में नहीं मिलता था सपोर्ट. सब कहते थे कि जब, अरे आप लोग तो बाद में आते हो, जब बचपन में चाहिए होता है कोई नहीं होता है. बट दैट हैज़ चेंज नाउ. आई थिंक दैट इज़ अ सिग्निफिकेंट चेंज, दैट फ्रॉम एज 8 to 18 the Khelo India scheme supports athletes of talent to pursue the game and then go on to the next level, which is of course your elite sport. By that time तो पता चल जाता है कि कौन नीरज चोपड़ा बनेगा और कौन नीरज वर्मा है जो नहीं बन पाएगा. So by that time that is clear. So I think that is those to my mind are the two changes since you asked. एक तो mindset में change है और दूसरा support में change है, और दोनों एक साथ मिलके are the results that we are seeing today.
That's right. Many thanks. Quite insightful. Vineet, your views, because you have been associated with the Olympics, also IPL as well. Cricket is one of the games where without government support, BCCI is one of the most powerful or one of the richest sports governing body in the world, and virtually no support from government. And they have done it of all their own. Like even in 71 when Ajit Wadekar's team won World Cup, won in England as well as in West Indies, they had no coach to go by. They
couldn't afford a coach.
Yeah, they could not afford a coach also. And they still went on to win. So what really makes it, the support from the government, perfectly all right, but what it really makes to make a champion?
I think the answer lies in your question only, that the conditions that are set for a particular sport determine the longevity and the destiny of the sport. I'll give you an analogy. For a flower to bloom, you need 4 or 5 things which are necessary. You need sunlight, you need water, you need pure air, and you need to tender to it every now and then, and you need to sow the right seeds. That is the only condition or atmosphere or an ecosystem where a flower will bloom. Same thing applies to sports as well. The conditions have to be right.
Conducive, yes.
They have to be conducive. Cricket has succeeded despite or lack of government support because of the fervor it enjoys from the rest of the public. The rest of the sports don't enjoy that kind of a support from the public, and that is why the government has to make up for that gap. Now, government too can only do this much. Why do athletes in Australia or England or China or US succeed? Because the right conditions have been set up for them. And the right conditions necessarily don't mean that they will succeed. The right conditions mean that they will be trained to meet the challenges.
At least they have the best, like you're rightly
Exactly.
saying. Yeah,
They will have
what
the
they
best.
need, and then it's up to them.
What really happens in India is that we are not loyal to a sport. We are also not loyal to cricket, if you ask me. We are all loyal to victories. We are all loyal to demigods. You create one hero in a sport, that sport will blossom. Neeraj Chopra is worth, you only told me offhand today that he's worth a couple of 100 crores today,
Yes.
is because he's a hero. Why isn't Abhinav Bindra a hero? Only 2 individual gold medalists, right? Yes. Why isn't he? Because he did not go out looking for advertisements. He did not go out looking for sport. He was rich enough to begin with. He was the reluctant hero who won the gold medal on his own terms with his own support. The government did not help him at all. He set up an academy in Chandigarh.
Yeah.
I went and met him also. I interviewed him. I saw
That's
that
correct,
academy.
yeah.
He spent about 16 crore rupees in his house to train that hard. So I think you and your sport are a function of 2 things. Number 1, the fervor and the excitement that sport enjoys in that particular country. And secondly, who supports it? Yes. If you're being victorious, if you're creating demigods, if you're creating heroes, it's all hero worship.
Yes.
If you're creating heroes, then the corporate will support you. If you're not a hero, The corporates won't support you, the government will have to come in, but that too is going to fall flat on its face because it's still a lackluster approach. The government can only do as much. So you have to realize that it's a cultural thing, it's a social ecosystem that we have to create to make sports persons into stars, because people are loyal to entertainment. Entertainment comes when you win. Entertainment comes when you enthrall the audience. Entertainment comes when you make them pride. Sports हम क्यों खेलते हैं? क्योंकि उसके साथ एक हमारा pride associated है उससे. India इसको हराता है, India उसको हराता है. We feel good about that. जब इंडिया ने 400 मीटर में किसी को हराया ही नहीं इतने साल से, javelin throw में हमने अच्छा किया अभी, बाकी सारे जो gymnastics की discipline है उसमें we haven't done so well. Why would anybody support that sport? So like I said, you produce victories, you will produce heroes. Those heroes will come out. They will get sponsors, and then you don't even need the government. Why hasn't the BCCI needed the government? It's not even under RTI.
Yes.
You know that?
Yes, yes.
It's under the communities bill. It's a community.
Yes.
And the only thing that the only reason why the government has left them alone is because they are functioning well. The second something happens, there's a impropriety which is divulged.
Which is what happened to IOA, for instance.
Yeah, in financials. You will have the government breathing down their neck. And that will be the end of BCCI. They're still trying very hard. In a way, it is superficially monitored by the government. Jay Shah is there. He's appointed by the Home Minister. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth. That's why he's there. The government does monitor it, but it cannot control it entirely because it's a profitable enterprise. It's making money for everyone. When it doesn't, when we don't produce victories, then it comes under scrutiny. The selectors just got fired, yes. Right? Chetan Sharma and all these guys have been fired, yes. Because we lost. That is also optics. Okay, so it's a function and basically condition of a lot of things working together. Michael Phelps, I don't know how many gold medals does he have. 16 individual, 16 years.
I think 22.
Something like we have 2. Yeah. One man versus a country. So what is the shift there? Exactly. What is the difference? They have set up the conditions for him to succeed. And those conditions are independent of government, corporate. Those conditions only guarantee good performance. When good performance comes, all of these things will follow. There was a cricketer by the name of Ian Botham.
Yes.
He said that just take care of the runs. The money will take care of itself. That is what you need to do. Take care of the sport, excel in it. And in some sports, Ashutosh, we are genetically not in tune with some of our Western counterparts.
Absolutely.
We should stop anticipating medals in those. I'm being like football.
Yeah.
You've had the ISL, you've had this league, that league. Football could never succeed. You compare Mr. Chaudhuri to Ronaldo and Messi. In terms of goals, he's the third highest goal scorer in the world, but it's preposterous to compare them. One guy has scored those goals in the EPL and the Copa Libertadores, and here is Mr. Chaudhuri. I'm not trying to disrespect him. I'm just saying that the level at which they play is entirely different and it's genetic. Those are the areas which should be addressed separately. That's my take on this.
Absolutely, because what we have seen is that we are not lagging far behind. We had the demigods in case of Vishwanath Anand as well, and we have seen the revolution that subsequently
I'll give you an example.
happened.
Just sorry to interject you. We were winning gold medals in Olympics in hockey for the very long time under Dhyan Chand and Roop Singh and all these people, Zafar Iqbal and all these people.
Yes.
As soon as government interference started, while it was controlled by the army, we were producing results.
Yes.
As soon as the government interfered, they thought, okay, these guys are getting ahead of themselves, they're getting big, let's boot in. That's when it came down.
Yes. So
So that is basically the federation. See, government doesn't control the sport. It's always the federation that controls the sport, and the federation is funded by the government. That is the limited role of the government.
But the federation has people sitting in the federation at top posts who are appointed by the government.
No, that's not correct.
A lot of them are.
It's not like that, in the sense that there might be politicians who are sitting in federations. Let's say Arjun Munda ji is the president of the Archery Federation, for instance. Praful Patel ji used to be the
Yes.
Football Federation president. They are politicians, but they don't represent the government.
He got us banned by the FIFA.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
So
So
that's
prime
what I'm
example of what I'm saying.
No,
He got
so-
us banned by the FIFA, Mr.
No,
Praful
so
Patel.
the-
But he is not the government. That's
No,
the
let
only
us-
point.
let us- come to a point.
I understand that. He's not the government, but he has his leg into that door which is leading to the government's office. That's for sure. He is being influenced by the government and he's working on behalf of the government, right? He has a say because of the government.
No,
I
this,
think,
this we'll have
just
to
one
take
second, I mean,
offline because he's not.
Tell me, he's still a politician, right?
No,
Okay,
he's a politician.
He's still a politician.
He's a politician.
Yes,
That's fine.
the
That's fine.
political
and usually this
influence is-
politician is from the ruling government?
Yes.
Am I right? Or am I right?
No, you're right. Generally
I didn't give
from
you an
the
option.
ruling
I said, am I
government.
right or am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we are moving a little offline. You go ahead with the next
But
question.
let us look at it, that the government support is there. We have got the National Center of Excellence now.
Yes.
Fine. We
Yes.
also have STC, the SAI training centers.
Yes.
We have extension centers of STC also.
Right.
We have NSTC, National Sports Talent Contest schemes as well.
Right.
So there is no politician interference in that.
No.
There is no interference of the politicians.
Those are run exclusively by
They are
the
run
government.
exclusively.
But you know, before I go to that question, I just want to, for what he said, and this is for everybody, the sports in the country, any sport in the country, can only be as big or as small as the support it receives.
Yeah.
जब हम स्पोर्ट देखने जाते हैं ना, तभी that is the only time, that is the only way, that is one major way in which to promote sports. हम कहते हैं इंडिया किसी चीज में अच्छी नहीं कर पाती यार, कैसे? बैडमिंटन का गेम होता है तो हम में से कितने लोग देखने जाते हैं? टीवी पे दिखाते तब भी नहीं देखते. You know, the thing is that unless we support, unless there is mass participation in sport in the form of audience, खेलेंगे तो दो ही लोग, बाकी कैसे सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं, देख के सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं ना. Unless that happens, वो नहीं होता है. इसलिए क्या होता है कि कॉर्पोरेट्स जो है कि जो अभी कह रहे थे कि क्रिकेट में इतने सारे आप आईपीएल देखने बैठते हो, हर 10 मिनट में 4 ऐड दिखने लग जाते हैं, है ना. आप फुटबॉल देखने बैठो, आपको 40 मिनट में भी नहीं दिखेंगे. वो इसलिए क्योंकि लोग नहीं देखते, तो कॉर्पोरेट को लगता है कि यार यहाँ ऐड लगा के मैं क्या करूँ, ये तो कोई नहीं देखेगा. और क्योंकि स्पोर्ट में पैसा नहीं आता है ना, तो फिर उसमें वो सपोर्ट बाकी प्लेयर्स वगैरह किसी को नहीं मिलता है. तो the crux, I mean, what he was trying to say, and I just wanted to reiterate
But the
that before coming
funny
to-
thing is that even government has agencies that it advertises during the IPL, like LIC
Yes.
and others. I don't see LIC ads in a football match. At least the good start would be that the government-controlled enterprises can spend on the sports viewership and sports programs of, disciplines which are not doing well, right?
That's
That'd be a good start, isn't it? LIC advertises on the IPL.
But LIC is not.
No, that
It's
is
not
absolutely a commercial
I know,
angle.
but
That is
it's
a
not.
I know
absolute-
that, I know. It's
not.
not the government's anymore.
It's not. I
Not
mean,
anymore, but it
yeah.
used to be, right? The government used to control it, right?
Yes.
It just gave up the ownership a few
Yes.
months ago.
Or earlier, maybe. Yeah.
No, just a few months
No, no.
back. Just a few months back.
No, the point that I'm trying to understand here is that when we are making champions, we are also making demigods, isn't it? And
Yes.
then what we have seen is media plays a role also in creating demigods.
Oh yes.
Now,
There-
both of you come from media.
Yes.
Fine. So we have Vishwanath Anand, who virtually revolutionized the chess,
yes.
completely. And then we have got now the youngest person in Pragyanan who has beaten #1 Magnus Carlsen
Right.
twice in a calendar year.
Yes.
And that's amazing. Yeah, that's genius. It's not a random factor. It's
Yeah.
absolute genius. So what you were mentioning is that some of the sports we need to concentrate on, and some of the sports we just need to forget. Isn't it? That is because it is genetic also.
Not forget, but
Yeah.
maybe have a new approach towards them.
New approach to them.
Maybe a new approach.
Mm-hmm.
Or have athletes train at that level, eat at that level, endure
Yes.
at that level, in which those, European athletes are trained. Have you seen their legs? Have you seen how
Yes.
powerful they are? How much do they run?
No, but yeah,
Physics.
that's genetic from what,
That is
what
genetic.
he's saying. That's
That is
completely genetic,
genetic.
because it's not any different. I mean, today if you see, as I speak to you, There are 6 athletes from India who are going abroad to train, and they train with the same people internationally, who they compete with at international. So the conditions are not very different. In a lot of sports, so just to give you an example, Avinash Sable, who in CWG won the, his is the 400 meter or something. Now, Kenya has been winning that forever. He's the only Indian who's ever won it. So, genetically, we are third place, no? Yeah, he was either silver or bronze.
Bronze.
Yeah. So, but that was the only medal any other country's ever won.
Yes.
It's been Kenya for everything forever. So while genetically we don't match up to them, to the Kenyans in the run, I think it's, providing the same kind of atmosphere which is slowly bringing about the change, the same kind of conditions. So in as much as the conditions, I think that is, like I'm saying, that is something that's slowly and very gradually but steadily moving to that place. But also at the same time, genetically, there are sports that we cannot fight. There are sports that we can fight.
Absolutely.
But, coming back to the role of the media, I've been in the media for 17 years before I moved to this.
Yes.
What I see is that in sports, unfortunately, like everywhere else, and it's not only in sports, it's the same in Bollywood reporting, it's the same in political reporting, it's the same everywhere. That media is only interested, just like the corporates, in somebody when they have become somebody.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. They are marketable.
They're marketable, right? So therefore what happens is that, the support of the media at the grassroots level, so when Neeraj Chopra didn't become Neeraj Chopra overnight, right? So he was performing significantly well at various places, and then
Correct.
But all that while nobody knew and nobody cared and nobody wrote about Neeraj Chopra. So that is also one aspect that, marketability of a star is also, a very significant, maybe small, but significant part of that marketability also depends on media presence, which is why today we have athlete acquisition, talent management agencies. There are everybody that you can think of who's doing, now earlier, just after the Olympics, or just before the Olympics, there was, let's say, just the likes of the Olympic medalists who were being acquired and marketed. Today, even the ones who are winning a single CWG medal, quickly the talent acquisition team is coming over and taking them over and signing contracts and saying, now, let's go on with this, because they know that maybe in the Olympics something is coming up.
That's right.
Yeah. What's
Vineet,
happening
your
is
views.
that, athletes are confused at this point in time. Whether to take a sport as a mode of employment, whether to treat it as a passion, or whether, to weather it out, something which is going to be my retirement plan. Every athlete has that insecurity. Even cricketers have insecurity. The cricketers who are in the team
That's right.
have insecurities. A guy who's a captain of the Indian cricket team will have insecurities. Ki, yaar, mujhe kal nikal na de. Look what happened to Virat Kohli. If the mighty can fall, you can think what must be going through the little guy's head.
Yes.
Mera kya hoga? So this is the question you need to answer. It all boils down to the security. And again, I'll say, it all boils down to the space, the conditions you're creating for these athletes.
Right. We again come back to the basics, like how we are going to have more number of medals in the Olympics and international competitions also. We have seen some of the decisions being made by the coaches, and those athletes have succeeded a lot. Like PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal, most of the decisions were made by Gopi Chand. Fine. And they adhered to his decisions. Parent did not interfere much because they themselves were athletes of their time. So they probably did understand the importance of coaches. Vineet, you have very closely worked with the IPL teams, etc., even Olympic teams, Commonwealth Games, etc. So how much role does the coaches play in making a champion, even if there is interference from the parents?
That's a very good question. I think a lot of dreams die because the parents want to be conventional, they want to be conservative about a person's chances in a particular sport. If you have a coach who can convince a parent about the potential, everything today is based on potential. The Americans pick up their NBA players from college.
Yes.
they usually do not play very much in college. They play 2-3 years and it's basically a curve which goes up and down. What do they pick up those people on? Why do they give them millions of dollars? Potential. And this is a established fact in the United States. Ki if the NBA is selecting you from a college, that means you have potential. The parents do not interfere. Like, this guy is made, his future is settled. That is exactly what the coaches fail to convince the parents of today. Ki look at the potential. They look at it from a point of view, यार अच्छा ये तो इसलिए बोल रहा है क्योंकि इसका दारू पानी इससे चलता है, इसका खर्चा इससे चलता है, so that's why he's saying this. They do not get convinced easily unless it's a coach like Rajkumar Sharma or a Tariq Sinha or some of the other legends that you have had. But everybody cannot be trained by these two, right? Tariq Sinha is dead, God bless his soul. So I think that trust factor is missing today from parents also. You know, that eagerness to be conservative and put your child in a faculty which is going to generate income safely and securely is what is on everybody's mind. People wonder, this parent came up to me for counseling, like, you know, we want to put our son in cricket, but we are worried. Kya hoga uska? मैंने कहा क्यों क्या होगा? Be positive. But they were like, no, look what happened to Kambli, look what happened to Mongia. Yeah. I said, that has nothing to do. They made the right choice when they had the opportunity. They bungled up because of other factors. Kambli started drinking, Mogia started doing this and that, you know, he fought with the selectors, fought with Sachin. I said, that is destiny that is controlled by an adult. He's a child right now. Let the coach decide, let him figure out what is best for him, and the trust factor will only be created once you have some success stories. And there are plenty of them in our country.
Plenty of them.
Plenty of them.
Yes. Himika, you have been very closely working with Sports Authority of India. Do we have a kind of ecosystem that is needed? And what are the government initiatives in developing an ecosystem so that the parents also believe in the coaches and people also feel that sports is a career option?
Yes, in fact, you know, that is, so there's so many times, no, when you read in the papers and somebody says that, you know, state level athlete and, you know, what's he doing now, selling tea, didn't study also, tried to play for a while, didn't work. So I think, you know, the crux of parents putting their trust in sports as a career option, because at the end of the day, for what, you know, if the option, and I think we were discussing this the other day,
ecosystem, yeah,
that if the option is between appearing for a class 10 exams and going for a competition that's going to increase your ranking, sports ranking, parents will still say, no, take the class 10 exams, that's far more important. That's because between academics and sports, when we have to choose, the choice is still very, very clear, and it is academics because at least that gives you, you know, a chance to earn your livelihood in a steady manner, which sports still in India is not able to do. To begin with, we must understand that just in terms of sheer numbers, you know, the number of people who can succeed in sport or who do succeed in sport, because at the end of the day, there are only 237 people that you can send to the Olympic contingent. And of them, only 7 this time, and probably with time, 20 more will win medals. So the pyramid is so steep on the top that, you know, not everybody will become the hero that we are talking about. Not everybody will be victorious. Not everybody will be a 200 crore marketable sporting star. So therefore, it is very important that we are able to support them at a level which is, let's say, beyond the, when the pyramid is midway and people are falling off because, you know, they are not being able to perform at that level that they are required to, that they fall on a cushion and not on hard ground.
Right, right.
So I think that is what will define how easily or, you know, parents are able to let kids play sport at least for a while. So what we are trying to do for that is start vocational training classes for all athletes. So we're starting with the Khelo India scheme, which, like I said, is the grassroots level scheme.
Yes.
So at age 18, it is time to decide whether the child is good enough in sport to continue to a certain level or, you know, move on. And there are still kids who do not want to study, get into academics, be associated with sports, maybe not be the champion, but be associated. So, you know, so as you know, NSNIS Patiala, which is,
yes,
you know, it is the hub of sports curriculum, vocational courses in India. So we are now starting for all our Khelo India athletes.
So the ecosystem is being developed now.
Is being developed,
Right.
vocational courses after
Yes.
18 years of age, so that they, whether it is, physiotherapist, coaching, nutritionist, dietitian, sports science, there are lots and lots of things, sports management, lots that can be done. But that needs to be built, which was absent, because of which, like I said, the sports persons are confused that whether I should go ahead full-fledged or should I stop midway and try and do an MBA because yahan to kuch ho nahi raha hai.
Right.
So we're trying, so that is somewhere where we are trying to, because these are people who are giving years to sports. Let's use that experience and also let's give them something which is, which keeps them in sport, but takes them forward, gives them a life of dignity, gives them the economic independence that each of us require.
If you get
That's
a
great.
football
Final words,
scholarship,
final words
when you get a
from-
scholarship, football scholarship or an NBA scholarship in the US,
Yes.
you by default will get a B+ in all your subjects. By default. You don't even have to go to class.
Right.
What does that do? It infuses confidence, right? That's the answer to your question.